unpatriotic cities everywhere. Oh, America, America, God shed his grace on thee. Hey, this is how you handle getting pulled over by a cop. I got a great example of it. You could take a lesson, all right? Coming up. And celebrating America's 250th the right way, because we got a lot of stories about the wrong way. We're going to give you that last one at the end as we head into the weekend and the 4th of July and our 250th birthday the right way. Because that's how we do things around here. The right way. I don't know where that came from. Weird. All right. You ready? Here we go. The city of Buffalo, Buffalo, New York. It has pulled off two of the most bonehead stunts just ahead of our Independence Day. Hello, Maryland. And frankly, nobody's laughing. It's becoming a thing in some blue cities to celebrate, oh, I don't know, Somali Independence Day. Pandering mayors, some of these cities actually learning the language. Minneapolis Democrat Jacob Frey actually learned to speak the language and took part in some of the cultural traditions during the celebrations commemorating the Somali Independence Day. This knucklehead. Here, take a look. Yeah, he's looking like he's really enjoying that. Not. Minneapolis, of course, mostly conquered by the Somalis. Here's Frey doing his best Somalis. I'm sorry, did he say Somali is IKEA? I thought that was what he said. Fry attempts to justify this because Minneapolis, of course, is home to the largest Somali population in the country. The same cannot be said, however, for good old Buffalo, New York, which has a population of around 280,000 people. The only thing I could find on the number of Somalis living in Buffalo was an announcement back in 2024 from a state lawmaker at the unveiling of a mural depicting the rich cultural resilience and entrepreneurship of Buffalo's Somali Bantu community on the west side. Those refugees, there are some 600 of them that now reside in Buffalo, arrived in the city in the first several waves, the first of which took place in the summer of 2003. And yet, even with a percentage that small, and that's pretty tiny, the Somali flag has been raised every year for 4 years by local refugee-centered nonprofit Heal International in front of Buffalo's City Hall at Niagara Square, July 1st, which is the day the Somalis have designated as their Independence Day. And by the way, the Somalis really have absolutely no independence in Somalia. So, the reason given from the city of Buffalo that they had canceled their fireworks display. Canceled the fireworks and hung a Somali flag on City Hall's flagpole. In a city with under 1% of their residents who are Somali. The reason they said was that an appropriate site could not be identified that would provide a safe and widely accessible view experience for residents. As a result, the city will not be hosting downtown fireworks display this year. Well, isn't that nice? A complete blow to the residents there, and the city's Democratic Mayor Sean Ryan previously said there would indeed be a display. The announcement comes somewhat as a surprise to Ryan, who told reporters just weeks ago, for the first time in a generation, the city of Buffalo will be bringing fireworks back to downtown Buffalo. Events like these are important. Now, it was also reported that city officials explained made no sense to some because in its history, the city has sponsored fireworks shows at a variety of locations, including Niagara Square, Delaware Park, LaSalle Park, Riverside Park. Needless to say, canceling the 4th of July fireworks event and then turning around and honoring Somali Independence Day, that has pissed some people off in Buffalo big time. To the extent in the overnight hours that flagpole got damaged and somehow the Somali flag just disappeared. Don't know what happened. There was also an alleged threat to blow up City Hall. It's being investigated. Unknown suspects, who also broke the flagpole's access panel and cut the cable, said the flag was the reason behind online harassment directed towards city lawmakers. Alleged violent threat on City Hall, it's a threat the police are taking seriously. Now look, I am not in any way, shape, or form, you know me, condoning theft or vandalism or acts of any kind of violence. I also don't condone an American city seeming to show more respect for another country's independence other than our own, especially considering this is the 250th anniversary of America's of Independence Day. Especially because of that, of course, no matter what the supposed idiotic, asinine reasons why the official fireworks display got canceled, that is an absolutely boneheaded, tone-deaf move by the city, and it makes y'all look like idiots, which, more than likely, you are. Buffalo, New York. Well, isn't that nice? Not to be outdone, let's just move a few hundred miles to the east, shall we? Because the Massachusetts mayor, Massachusetts mayor has canceled the American 250 fireworks for her city, his city. A very angry woman confronted Democrat Brockton Mayor Moises Rodriguez after he enacted a safety curfew and canceled the July 4th fireworks. The so-called safety curfew was imposed after the World Cup celebrations resulted in incidents of reckless driving, vandalism, assaults, disorderly conduct, and other criminal activities. Beginning Friday, July 3rd, today, at 10 p.m., a temporary curfew shall be imposed within the city of Brockton, Massachusetts, and it will stay in effect until 5 a.m. Just as the clock ticks over into the July 4th anniversary, there's a curfew. Well, isn't that nice? They said the purpose of the curfew was to protect public safety, reduce criminal activity associated with post-match celebrations, and enable fire, police, and emergency personnel to effectively maintain order and respond to emergencies. Now, Rodriguez held a press conference to announce this curfew, and one woman wasn't having it. She was not having it in any way. I have something to say, she says. You lied to us. You told us we were going to have a big celebration July 4th here at City Hall. Fireworks, everything. And now we're down to a 1-hour social ice cream thing. Flag raising, the woman shouted. She continued, unbelievable. 250 years, man, is she right? Rodriguez told the woman the city of Brockton wasn't able to get a fireworks company to produce fireworks for the city. Mayor said, we don't want to do anything illegal in the community, so we're going to do the best that we can to celebrate the 4th of July in this plaza tomorrow afternoon. Do we have that cut? Oh, we do have that cut. All right. Let's take a look.
Celebration on July 4th here at City Hall, fireworks and everything. You said Chief Nardelli didn't so-called like it, but you were going to have it. And now we're down to a 1-hour social ice cream thing. Flag raising.
Yep. 1 hour.
Unbelievable. 250 years.
Ma'am, I know that that's not the reason why we're here, but I just want to let you know that we were not able to get a fireworks company to produce fireworks for us. And we don't want to do anything illegal in this community. So we're going to do the best that we can to celebrate the 4th of July on this plaza tomorrow afternoon.
Yeah, here's the deal, pal. We basically think you're full of shit. Canceled the fireworks in Brockton. Democrat mayor. And you know the reason why. It has nothing to do with we couldn't find a fireworks company. Please, give me a freaking break. Unreal. Unreal. The stories continue just in. Tim Burchett, the amazing representative, has called out leader John Thune. The push for FISA, which takes our rights, while failing us on the Save America Act, which protects our rights. If you can fight for FISA, you can fight for the Save America Act. He had a few choice words for good old idiot Mr. Thune. Here you go, have a listen.
Hey everybody, Tim Burchett. People are asking me about what's going on with the Save America Act. Well, the Senate, of course, is dragging their feet. The House has passed it twice. I've got a sneaking suspicion that they'll probably attempt to pass it or pass it so late in the dadgum game that it can't get implemented. And then they can go home and say, oh, look, we passed it, and everybody will be celebrating, patting them on the back. And then it just cannot get implemented at the state and local level in time for it to have any effect in these elections. And ultimately, I think that's what you've got. And I'm afraid in the Senate leadership, they have such a hatred of Trump and the conservative movement. They want things to go back to the status quo, which is them being called from the golf course by the Democrats when it's time to make a vote. And they do the obligatory, oh, we don't like what they're doing. And they get their crumbs off the side of the table and for their districts, and they go home and get reelected. And I'm afraid that's exactly what they're up to. And it's disgusting. And at some point, we're going to say enough is enough. And we're going to start electing people with some guts that are going to do something, aren't just going to sit around. America's tired of hearings. They're tired of pontificating. They're tired of being talked down to. So there's an issue that's across the board, something like 80% approval, and yet you can't even get it to a vote in the Senate. I just don't buy it, folks.
That's good old Tim Burchett. Love that guy. And he's exactly right. What the hell is your problem, Senate? Pass the damn bill. You've seen the numbers. You've seen that 85% of Americans are in favor of this bill. You represent those 85% of Americans. Get off your ass and pass the damn bill. And if you haven't done it yet, folks, please, 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 let your representatives know, please. Hang on. I'm going to show you right now. You look over here at this is our show notes, our description. This is the one on Rumble, but it's the same on YouTube. And you see right down here, contact, right in the middle of the screen. Contact your representatives and let them know. It's congress.gov/members. That link, it's always in the show notes, always in our description. That link will get you your representatives in Congress that you need to email, telephone, write, whatever. Contact them. Let them know. It does make a difference. Let them know that you vote, you are watching, and you want this bill passed. You got to do it. You simply have to do it. Put the pressure on these people. It's the only way they're going to understand. If they think their future elections might be in jeopardy. All right. You know the importance of fruits and vegetables? You know what your mom always said? Eat your fruits and veggies, make you grow up big and strong. Well, guess what, folks? Mom was absolutely right. Fruits and veggies are absolutely the anchor of any healthy diet. The problem is you got to go shopping, you got to prepare them, you got to cook them. In fact, you even have to hope that they don't go bad between the time you buy them and the time you go to use them. And that happens a lot. How many times has that happened to you? Field of Greens, one of our great sponsors here. Great to have them back on the show. Field of Greens is a science-backed formula of specific, healthy, wholesome fruits and veggies, all ground up into this amazing tasting powder. All you got to do is mix it in with your favorite drink. You do it once a day. Simple, easy. You do it when you get up in the morning. Have it with your coffee. You can mix it with green tea, orange juice, or even just water if you want. It really does taste amazing. It's great tasting. And these are real USDA organic fruits and vegetables. They're not extracts. They're not some substitute. They are authentic, real USDA organic fruits and veggies. Comes in many great tasty flavors. You will love it, and it is so good for you, and the best way for you to get your fruits and veggies back into your diet in the simplest way possible. Got a great 4th of July sale going on right now. Use the link down in our description, where I just showed you that pull-down menu there. Use that link, head over there, make a purchase, and be sure you mention the Jay Sheldon Show as to where you heard about it. This company is great. They're right here in America, and they have, again, it's all science-based. This has been formulated by doctors and scientists, and it is the best way for you to get yourself some of these amazing fruits and vegetables that you need every day in your diet. Indeed, you do. All right. Good old Justice Pirro. I love this lady. Why is that link not coming up? We got to do it the old fashioned way then, huh? All right, we can do that. It is now official, and I love it. U.S. Attorney Jeanine Pirro, Judge Jeanine, announced a D.C. grand jury has indicted former Olympic canoeist David Heem, who was caught ripping the sealant in the reflecting pool on felony destruction of property. Yay! FAFO is now facing what could be a max 10 years in prison. It's the American justice system that will never happen, but it could. That's the max penalty for what he's been charged with. Take a look at what Judge Jeanine had to say. This is a little long. I may chop it a little early. But man, am I glad to see somebody getting off their ass and putting some teeth into the law and showing these fools they are going to FA and then they're going to FO.
So, today a grand jury has returned a felony indictment against a defendant, David Hearn, for felony destruction of property, for which he faces 10 years in prison. The indictment is in response to an incident that occurred on June 19th of 2026, in which the defendant Hearn ripped a piece of recently installed sealant on the bottom of the reflecting pool at the Lincoln Memorial. The evidence shows, we will prove beyond a reasonable doubt, that Hearn willfully destroyed property at the Lincoln Memorial reflecting pool. This was a deliberate act to damage the reflecting pool at the National Mall that members of the National Park Service actually have worked hard to restore and have witnessed. By Hearn's own admission, on June 19th, he reached down into the pool. Our evidence further shows that the National Park Service employees observed Hearn actually forcefully and violently pulling up and removing the bottom liner with both hands.
10 years, pal. You're looking at 10 years in the slammer. And I'll tell you what, when the federal government indicts you, they got a closed case. They got everything. They don't muck around. You know, a state level indictment or something like that where you get charged, it's not a felony and all that stuff. The feds aren't involved. Could be not. But the federal government does not muck around when it comes to this stuff. Absolutely not. This was a deliberate act, as she said, intended to damage the reflecting pool. Again, this is not a unilateral action by the DOJ. A grand jury brought this federal indictment. That's how it all came about. Do we have the other? We do. Hold on. Yeah. Felony destruction of property. This Hearn guy's a two-time whitewater racing world champion. Competed in the canoe slalom at 3 different Olympic Games, and now indicted by a grand jury. Nice. Goodbye. Have a nice life. Enjoy being somebody's itch in prison. Oh, yeah. Now, I see videos all the time of people getting, because I watch a lot of, like cops type shows online, on X mostly, but they have a bunch of, body cam footage and things like that. And I enjoy watching those kind of things. So these things come up on my timeline. But inevitably, you pull somebody over, and before the cop even gets up to the car, this usually women, but men too, are screaming and yelling and, why you pull me over? Why you do that? I'm a sovereign citizen, whatever bullshit they're going to pull. Whereas in most cases, if you just shut the hell up, give the cop your license, your registration, and proof of insurance, at the most, you're going to get a small ticket, maybe just a warning, and you'll be on your way. But you gotta muck things up by thinking you're better than everybody else and thinking everybody's out to get you. You want to know how to handle a traffic stop? Watch this.
What's up, man?
Howdy.
How you doing?
I don't know if you see, I got a...
You have a gun on you?
Yeah.
No worries. Here, just keep your hand up.
It's in a QLS.
Okay, cool.
You can just take the whole thing.
No, I don't want the holster. Here, I'll be right back. Well, nice gun. I'm Deputy Tricks, the Sheriff's Office. The reason why I stopped you is for speed. I did 62 miles an hour, posted 45. And we're coming around the curve. Just gonna be a simple citation for speed. That's all. Get you issued with, get you on your way, okay? So we have this thing called guidelines. And anybody who's above 60 miles an hour usually gets a simple citation.
Was I really above 60?
Yeah. Yeah, I'll have to look at my radar to get the exact speed that I locked you in on. You have a motorcycle endorsement?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yes, sir. All right, I'll be right back. All right. What are your feet? Give me 1 second. You mind if I put this up here on the back?
Yeah, that's fine.
I didn't take it apart or anything. Well, I did, but then I put it back together. Here's your driver's license. Registration and insurance. All looks good, man. Thanks for having all that. I appreciate you stopping. Usually they don't stop, so that's why I issued you a warning. I appreciate it. Copy of the warning. It's just documentation of our contact. It's for the speed. I did have you at 62, posted 45. Are you going all the way up north today, or are you just driving the river?
I literally was just going back and forth a couple times. I'm headed home now.
Okay. Well, if you're going to go past the four-way stop, just remember it's 45 miles an hour.
Okay.
All the way until you get to milepost 29. It drops down to 35 right there. So I'm just warning you because my buddies I know are up there and I don't want you to get stopped again, okay? Only thing I need from you, sir, is a signature. It's just stating that you received a copy of the warning from me today. And in regards to your firearm, once I pull away and turn around and go away from you, you grab your firearm, you put it back together and load your round in the chamber, whatever you'd like to do. Yeah. And then go your way, okay?
I appreciate it.
You have any questions for me at all, man?
That was it.
All right.
Thank
Well,
you
take
very
care
much.
and you ride safe, okay?
Thank you.
Nice bike, man. This looks cool.
I appreciate it. Be safe out there.
And there you go. You see how easy that was? Everybody cooperated. Nobody got heated. Nobody screamed, "You're violating my rights." That's how it works, fools. You're going to get yanked out of the car, and you're going to get put in handcuffs, as opposed to this guy who just went along and got along. That's how you do it. An exiled Iranian man has a very heavy warning for Texas school districts about the dangers of Islam. And he made no bones when he told his story, and it is fascinating. And the folks in Texas and the folks across this country would do really well to pay attention.
My name is Edwin Zagoli. I am a Sharia law survivor, was born in Iran. And I'm here to tell you everything that you're doing here has been done in UK and Canada. You have no idea where this halal money is going to, how they're being funding these mosques, and what kind of a hell is coming towards your country right now. It's 2026. I escaped that hell years ago, and I'm seeing the same thing happening over here in the United States. You have no idea. There's 3 levels of Sharia law that is happening. Right now, it's level 1. They come in peace. They come and tell you, we just want rights. We want to be part of it. Level 2 is what's happening in the UK right now. You have 2-tier policing. You have cops who are working with Muslims right now. You have Sharia law courts over there. Now they're pushing blasphemy laws over there. And one of them is called M103. It's in Canada. People are being jailed. People are being raped in the United States, and nobody's doing anything about that because these Muslims are protected. Level 3 is what happened to my country, Iran. The hell I lived under. the apostasy laws, blasphemy laws, the hangings. These people do not change. They use taqiyya to come to your country, lie to every single one of you, and tell you they're different. They're not. Even in Florida, if you look at any of these mosques, they're pushing infidels. They're saying we want to kill infidels, we want to take over their lands. They're openly calling this out. Go to X and watch any of them straight up talking about this. And people like you I love America. I love America. Like right now, when I was in Iran living in that hellhole under Islam, I was praying to God to come to this country one day and live freely. And this shit is happening. I'm so sorry, but I'm like crying.
Doesn't get any clearer than that. That is a man who came here from Iran to escape Sharia law. And he's just telling it the way it is. We can only hope people are listening. Gotta be. This is a very clear and present danger, and a very real one. Do you remember the jokes about how many fill in the blanks does it take to change a light bulb? They were popular when I was a kid, which is like 1,000 years ago. I would bet my eye teeth it's something like a couple of $100 to change a light bulb. Apparently, we need Doge to take a look at our military a little bit closer. This is insane. As Senator Jess Collins, the Chief of Management of Defense Estate Assets Inquiry, asks the basic question, how many military folks does it take to change a light bulb?
If I'm a combat engineer on a base and a light bulb goes, what do?
You would log a job on Service Connect, which is an app that we have, or on the intranet, the defence intranet, and somebody would come out and change your light bulb for you.
Somebody on base?
Yes. They might not be permanently based on the base. They might service a range of other sites, but yes, somebody on base would come and change the light globe.
Why can't I change it myself? If I am a combat engineer, why can't I change the light bulb myself? Why do I have to go through that process?
Where would they buy the light bulb from? Where would they store the light bulb? Or the ordering of things like light bulbs.
How much does it cost to change a light bulb?
I couldn't tell you. We don't price, individual activities down to that level of detail.
I know you're looking at me like this is a ridiculous line of questioning, but we're trying to understand the maintenance program on these bases. I mean, the whole part of the rationale for selling somewhere like Victoria Barracks, Sydney, the heart and soul of the Army, is because things like changing a light bulb cost too much. Combat engineer can blow up bridges, go behind insurgent lines, but he can't change his own light bulb. That's what we're trying to understand. We have apprentices on bases, wages already paid for by the Defence Force, and we can't use them.
Follow my page and help me stop this crooked government from selling out Australia. Authorised by Senator Jess Collins, Liberal Party, New South Wales.
Now, to be fair, yes, that is Australia, okay? That's about the military down there. However, I'm going to have to guess that it's likely not very different around here. You remember the, $5,000 toilet seats? Oh, yeah. Unbelievable. All right. One of the fantastic people around here that we are so proud to have as a sponsor is the amazing folks at America's only Christian conservative wireless provider, Patriot Mobile. Here they are. Patriot Mobile, America's only Christian conservative wireless provider. It supports Americans' Christian conservative causes. They offer unlimited talk and text in every one of their plans. They have a U.S.-based customer support service. They speak your language. In 2022, now listen to this, Patriot Mobile donated over $2 million to support Christian conservative causes, which just highlights their commitment to leveraging cell phone usage and promoting shared values and making a significant impact. Go to patriotmobile.com/J now, get signed up, use the link in our description, and switching is simple. You keep your number, you keep your phone. You can upgrade if you want, you don't have to. And when you use that link there in the description, you will get your first month free. Yep, I am paying for your first month of service at Patriot Mobile. It's just that easy. Support a company that supports our values. patriotmobile.com/JJAY. Head over there today and get yourself signed up. Fantastic company, fantastic group of people to work with. They really are. They are an amazing group. Jason and the gang at Patriot Mobile, love dealing with them. They're a lot of fun. All right, here we go. How about this one? Again, if you're a Christian in this country nowadays, you may not be as safe as you think you are. Got another story for you about exactly that. A man has been nabbed with targeting a North Carolina church with crossbows and flamethrowers. Folks, this insanity needs to stop. This is crazy talk. Sunday, just last weekend, Wesley Memorial Methodist Church in High Point, North Carolina, could have become a part of a very bad expanding group. Churches targeted for violent attacks, vandalism, protests. Thanks to a very observant and quick-thinking individual and an off-duty cop, that attack was thwarted. That close, folks. A Thompsonville man faces multiple charges, including having a weapon of mass destruction after bringing a flamethrower to a High Point church on Sunday, according to High Point Police Department. 10:15 a.m., the PD got a call, a 911 call, about an armed person sitting in a truck in the parking lot of Wesley Memorial Methodist Church on Chestnut Drive. The caller said the man had a gun and he was wearing camouflage clothing. Off-duty officer working at the church responded into the parking lot. Additional officers arrived. They disarmed the man, later identified as William S. Milliken III, 44 years old, from Thomasville, and they took him into custody. At the time of his arrest, he was wearing a plate carrier, which is a kind of body armor. What in God's world is going on? What mayhem did this guy have planned? Was he targeting somebody specific or just want to cause as much destruction as possible? He had a crossbow and a flamethrower. Thank God for that observant person. Followed the directive. If you see something, say something. They called 911. And thank God for the off-duty cop that was also right on top of the situation. That is the only reason this Milliken moron was stopped before he could take any action. whatever that might have been. When they searched his truck, listen to what they found. More than 500 rounds of ammunition, a CO2-powered launcher designed to resemble a handgun, not one, but 2 flamethrowers, 2 crossbows, rolls of black duct tape, 3 knives, and oxycodone pills. He has been charged with possession of a weapon of mass destruction, impersonating law enforcement, possession of a Schedule II controlled substance, among other charges yet to be determined. And according to reports, Milliken suffers from mental health issues. You think? Other items they found in the truck, frankly, even more chilling than his arsenal. According to court documents, he also had a notebook listing the addresses of other churches and schools in his notebook. Unbelievable. Do you have a police presence at your church every Sunday? You should. At the very least, take some of your offerings and hire yourselves a security team. Sad to say, in fact, horrible to have to say, but we don't live in that world we grew up in anymore. It just sadly does not exist. Hire yourselves some security if you can't get your local police to pop by and spend an hour during your service. They take their role of safeguarding very, very seriously. They understand that just because we all love Jesus and we're there to worship together, enjoy each other's company, there are people and agents out there whose sole aim is to bring mayhem and death and destruction, chaos, destroy the sanctity of the worship service. And tragically, a lot of them absolutely relish the idea of doing exactly that. For this High Point, North Carolina congregation, those other places that Milliken had listed in his notebook, he wanted to be that agent of chaos. But thanks to an observant person and an off-duty cop, he got nipped in the bud. And that's good news. Oh, man. How about this one? A city that is actually tied historically to George Washington is lit up like a Roman candle because they are urging neighbors to snitch on fireworks this 4th of July. Alexandria, Virginia, the town where young George Washington surveyed the streets, getting shelled for urging residents to snitch on their neighbors who might be using fireworks during Independence Day tomorrow. And that includes sparklers. Yeah, sparklers. Are you freaking kidding me? If you are the type of person who feels compelled to report your neighbors for giving their kids sparklers, may I suggest a testosterone transfusion? Because you likely need it. If you're a woman operating under the same premise, maybe a legal name change. You might want to try Karen. Yes, fireworks, including sparklers, are illegal in Alexandria. Report illegal fireworks. Call 311. That message has all the energy of an undersized elementary school hall monitor who uses masking tape to hold their glasses together. The post triggered a predictable and thoroughly deserved online roasting, with critics from across the country piling on to mock Alexandria's underwhelming festive spirit. Town Hall columnist Dustin Grage said, "Oh, I'm sorry. I thought this was America." You know who reports on their neighbors? Communists, another reader said. Communists report on their neighbors. Now, it's true, Dwight Schrute might say, come to think of it, you can imagine what would happen to somebody in another liberal cesspool if they had sparklers and dropped their thermostat to below 78, God forbid. Straight to the gulag. I love this. Twitchy's Politi Bunny lit into Alexandria like a Roman candle. She said, leftists are miserable, bites in the ass scolds. No joy allowed. Indeed. George Washington himself has a deep, historic, decades-long connection to Alexandria. He helped survey, lay out the original town plan. He was 17 years old back in 1749. They even bragged the official city website about the nation's first president considered Alexandria his hometown. Can you imagine if the man who brought the American Revolution with bombs bursting in air and all that somehow traveled to this modern day today and looked around, found out, sorry, you can't celebrate Independence Day with a sparkler? They have lost their senses. Having led brave men to risk all for liberty, Washington might say, they would have neighbors inform upon one another for the harmless sport of fireworks and illuminations upon the glorious 4th. I'm sure he'd say something like that. Nice job, Alexandria. Once again, just proven that you're morons. We cannot end this week, being the 3rd of July, tomorrow, our 250th anniversary, without some kind of a good news story about America and just how wonderful we are, and I think this one says a lot. It is American Legion Riders' Mission for America, and it is amazing. We're going to be seeing a lot of incredible things for America 250, but one absolutely fantastic effort is coming from the American Legion Riders Sojourn 250. Tomorrow, July 4th, nearly 200 American Legion Riders will assemble in downtown Pittsburgh as the sun rises on the United States semi-quincentennial. Part of the Sojourn 250, they're going to provide an escort for an American flag that will have traveled through 26 countries, flying over the graves and memorials of U.S. heroes buried in cemeteries under the American Battle Monuments Commission's care. The final leg of that huge 26-country international tour begins at the national headquarters of the National Flag Foundation in Pittsburgh, and it will end at the nation's capital. 250 miles, 250 riders. One historic escort. This from the American Legion. July 4th, capping off America's birthday with a historic ride escorting Old Glory from Pittsburgh, PA to Washington, D.C. The riders are going to make their first stop at the Washington National Pittsburgh Pirates Major League Baseball game at Nashanas Park. They're going to present the flag before the crowd. They've always answered the call of the American Legion when our nation was called. Veterans and communities needed us. That American Legion Riders National Chairman David Heredia Jr. said, "Whether we're escorting Gold Star families, honoring the nation, supporting veterans in crisis, or raising millions of dollars for the American Legion's Vets and Children Foundation, we always lead from the front. When the opportunity came up to escort the Sojourn 250 flag into our nation's capital on Independence Day, it wasn't just another motorcycle ride. It was another mission. And this mission aligns perfectly with who we are. We have the experience, the discipline, and the commitment to safely carry one of our nation's most treasured symbols during the kickoff of America's 250th anniversary celebration." Continues with, 50 years from now, when people ask where they were as America began celebrating their 250th birthday, those riders are going to be able to say, "I was there. I helped escort our nation's flag into our nation's capital." And that is something that no one will ever be able to take away from them. Fantastic. Happy birthday, America. Be proud. Celebrate. Light up some sparklers. Enjoy your weekend. Spend it with someone you love. And we'll be back on Monday morning. America's 250th birthday is just about to start. And do all you can to show your pride in America.